Hey, what's going on, guys? Just put some music on while we're getting started. Gonna do the old posting around on Twitter, make sure everybody's here that wants to be here. Let's hope I post the right link this time. Wow. I'm always amazed when people actually show up to these things. I don't know. If you guys have suggestions for like what to talk about, I'm basically planning to just read some strips and talk about the campaign and kind of reflect on everything and talk about what's next and all that good stuff. So if you have any suggestions or ideas, feel free to let me know. Otherwise, it's just going to be another chill night. I don't want to like turn this into a magical event. At least I don't have plans to. But I am open to suggestions. I was joking with Serena Sketches on Twitter. Like doing the introvert stream would just be a bunch of people sitting around listening to music and relaxing. And that's all I basically can think of to do. It's not quite shyness exactly. I just don't know what to talk about. When someone like looks at you and says, "Hey, say something funny," it's like, okay, dance monkey. Like from Zoolander. You're a monkey, Derek, dance. Let's see. Sandslasher, how about how certain characters came into being? Okay, I could do that. Have you guys read the archives and stuff? Nurse Joy, yes, lo-fi hip-hop. That is amazing stuff. Have you guys ever heard of a guy named Nujabes? Nujabes. He's this Japanese artist. He's unfortunately died, but he is like the god of lo-fi. It's called chill hop almost, I think. But he did some soundtracks for Samurai Champloo. He's incredible. I wish I could just play his music in the background. Man. Feather, that's a good one. Yeah. All of his stuff is amazing. Like maybe I should just have his music in the background. We should all like listen to music, man, and just like have a moment together, you know? I never know how to do these things. All right, so everyone, I'm amazed anyone's here at all, but I'm so glad you guys came. This is kind of like one of those special events, bookmarks in a person's life. You know, I'm just finishing up the Indiegogo. It did really, really well, actually. We didn't hit the target, like an arbitrary target of, I just picked the number 5,000 kind of out of a hat, but I figured 5,000 would be definitely enough to print enough books and also fund, I don't know, like a month or two of just future strips, because I've always been digging time for my own personal schedule. Like I just need to find time to draw these strips. I love these strips. Tempt me with streaming. Man of Sex, if you promise to behave, I can invite you if you want. Although I don't know if I've ever heard you on any other streams, so you gotta promise to behave. Let me think now. So I think there's like 6 hours left in the, let me think. I think it's about 6 hours left in the campaign, right, for Problematic. And man, like I'm just surprised because I kind of met everyone maybe a couple of months ago. It was Sweetcast who I was talking to, and I guess on an offhand comment, he mentioned that I should start my own Indiegogo because of all the Reddit drama and everything. But yeah, he's like, hey, start an Indiegogo, just try to get some support from Comicsgate, and everybody's been so welcoming and friendly, and of course we've all been slandered, right? The whole movement, if you want to call it a movement, everyone's been slandered. Everyone's saying all these things about us that aren't true, and it's like, oh, we're just normal people who love comics. What a surprise, right? But yeah, I think we're at 80 backers or so. All right, Manasex, I'll invite you in a little bit. I just want to make sure I have my plan here going well here. It's like I'm planning to screen share in a little bit, so I want to make sure I don't make a fool of myself. But let me see. All right, so basically we're wrapping up the Indiegogo in 6 hours. I don't think we're going to get many more backers, but I thought it would be very important to at least do a late stream, which is unusual, I guess, but maybe it's a good habit to get into. Just where I would kind of reflect on everything and thank everybody. That's very important. Thank you guys for even coming, but also if any of you ordered the book, A, I'm sure you're going to love it, and B, I'm really grateful when anyone buys a copy of my book. It's like you work on something for so long, and then you never know if anyone's going to read it, much less enjoy it. But then some people write back. It's like, wow, this book was really meaningful to me, or, you know, I gave it to a friend and they really laughed a lot. And cartooning is a very solitary job, right? You just do your thing and you kind of work in a vacuum, and you hope people are going to like it. You hope people are going to be touched by it. Let's see. Manasex is going to bed. All right, no problem, man. I'm sorry for I know I said I was going to invite you and I forgot, and then I got pulled into another stream, and we'll talk soon, I'm sure. I've got another campaign going, so I'll invite you to talk sometime. You sound like a really funny person. Nurse Joy, I'm sorry that my voice is it's like an ASMR voice, I guess, right? Should I put like heavy metal music in the background? Would that help? I could do that. Let me see. What do we want to listen to here? I could just have my chill hot playlist go. What's next after this? It's more vaporwave. Simpsons wave. So, okay, what's the plan here? I'm not good at juggling too many things. I guess what I'm going to do first is screen share so that even if I'm being boring, you guys have something to read. All right, let's see. Let me try the screen share. Laughs in Black Sabbath. Let's see. Black Sabbath. I'm more of a, when it comes to metal, let me think. I mean, Slayer is always the classic choice. My sweetheart doesn't like Slayer, but she likes Metallica and stuff like that. And that's how you know you married the right person, right? She likes Metallica. All right, let's see. I am screen sharing, but it looks like it's blinking. Let me see if there's something wrong with it. What is up with that? Why is it blinking? All right, it stopped blinking now. All right, well, Nurse Joy, if you want to go to sleep, feel free. Randomly at midnight, I'm going to just like start screaming into the microphone. Oh, no, I know exactly what I'm going to do. Where is it? Hang on. Shoot. Now I'm going to actually look at my phone. There's going to be dead air. I'm so sorry, guys. But it's going to be a funny joke. Come on. Come on, phone. I know exactly what I'm going to do. So you guys are going to be going to sleep. Beautiful. Where is it? There we go. Aren't you guys relaxed? Man, this is the kind of comics that, you know. Wake up! It's comics time. Oh my goodness, we actually have like a ton of people in here. I was playing Slayer as a joke. I don't actually play Slayer on live streams. Let me just look at my Twitter and make sure I'm not missing anybody that I invited. Let's see. All right, Serena Sketches has been has confirmed that she wants to come hang. So let me invite her. I'm really sorry for this unprofessional behavior, guys. I don't know how to do this. I'm not a professional. I'm good at drawing, but I'm not good at live streaming. All right, Serena, I have sent you a link, and I hope that works. And let's see. I'm still screen sharing. That's good. And I'm back in the... All right, there we go. Crystal McGee's in the house. We were joking earlier about Introverts Anonymous. So if we want to take turns playing some music, we can just kind of like hang out by the window and look outside and kind of just think about life, man, you know? Pickle Pack. You know, I bet you could play video games and listen to this at the same time. I don't know. I actually used to do that with live streams. That was very relaxing. Like I would play a good grindy game, something that doesn't take a lot of effort or something that you're not thinking about too much. Like an RPG where you're just trying to get some experience points, that sort of thing. And it's very relaxing. Or something like Minecraft. Anyway, well, until Serena comes in and until I can actually do a better job, I think I'll actually... Battle 2005. What is BTF2? Wow, I'm having a... Yeah, Crystal and I... It's funny, whenever I meet someone who's more introverted than I am, I have to become the extrovert. And when I was talking to Crystal a couple times, I was like, it's funny to be the person who's actually talking. And that's not to say she's shy or anything, but it's really funny to talk to people who are like me. Oh, Battlefront 2. Okay, Sam Slasher. Man, people are actually showing up. This is like pressure. I don't know what to actually talk about besides talking about my strips. If you guys have requests of things to talk about, please do let me know. All right, so you know what? I've got some strips up here, and I guess I'll just read some of them and talk about the backstories. I might go for 45 minutes, maybe. Just talk about whatever's going on with the campaign, and let's just do it. So here we've got a strip of Greg. I think we're at about episode 100, so there's 550 episodes-ish. So we're barely a fifth of the way through the book. So if you read it to this point, you've still got tons of content left. And of course, the archive is available for free. You guys can go to my website, studionj.com. There's a link in the comics section, and you can just read the whole book for free, basically. So enjoy, please. Even if you can't afford a book, I want you to enjoy it, share it with your friends, let them know that you like it, if you like it. No pressure. So on the left side here, we got a strip where Greg's going skiing. And on the left, he's going through his bag and he doesn't have his snowsuit. So if any of you have ever gone skiing, I'm actually planning to go skiing tomorrow to celebrate this the campaign. And I haven't gone skiing in like 5 years. I haven't been able to afford it because skiing, I don't own skis, right? And it costs like, I think, $50 for the ticket and another 50 to $100 to rent gear. So it's really expensive and it's actually pretty far away. But I thought I would treat myself since the campaign did so much better than I thought, which I thought it was going to do 0. But yeah, I thought I would treat myself to a day of skiing. And I used to ski a couple times a year. It's really relaxing. And it's funny that we're here in the strip that I wanted to talk about it a little bit. Like, I don't know if any of you have done it, but it's fun and intense when you're going down the mountain, right? But also it's really pensive and beautiful. Like if you bring your phone, you listen to the right music, you go up on the ski lift and you're just smelling that mountain air. And the ski lift is pretty slow usually, right? So it can take you up to 5 minutes to get to the top of the mountain and your legs are just hanging there. You're watching people ski. And you're just having these moments. And if you have a great view, it's actually amazing, right? If you've ever gone from the top of a mountain, you can see this amazing view and you just kind of feel very, centered. You know what I mean? And I used to go a bunch of times per year with friends and family, and it's something I really missed. And I didn't want to miss it this year. So it just snowed here in New Jersey, or in my area of New Jersey. So we got nice fresh snow, and it just worked out. Everything worked out beautifully. So I might even try to record myself having a fun time tomorrow and thanking everyone properly. But here we got Greg on the left side, and he doesn't have a snowsuit. And I actually currently don't have a snowsuit, so I don't know what I'm going to do. I might have to like buy a cheap one, but there's an alternative that Greg has used, and I've thought about doing this, but I never had the guts, is wearing a garbage bag. But it's funny because on the bottom left there, instead of going into the trash, instead of wearing it like a normal suit, of course, he's just wearing the trash bag like a, I don't know, what does he look like? A Hershey Kiss on skis. Oh, you made it in?
That's so cute.
We got Serena Sketches here with us.
Hi, can you hear me all right?
Yeah, you're a little low volume wise, but I can hear you.
How about this? A little better?
That's a little better.
Let me bring the mic closer.
Sure. I wonder what other settings I can.
Can you hear me now?
I can faintly. I wonder if I can boost your volume. I don't want to mess with anything. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm using a new mic, so there's going to be boomer issues.
Okay, I'm going to try something. I hope I don't blow out anyone's speaker. Try now.
What about now?
Oh, that's loud. Yes. Yeah, we gotcha. I can adjust your volume, it seems.
I think my new mic's not working and my gaming headset mic's working. That's probably why you couldn't hear me before.
All right, we're good now. I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if we've spoken before, but I've seen you in a lot of streams.
Yeah, I've heard you speak in a lot of streams, like mostly Ethan's streams, I think.
Okay. How'd you get plugged in with everybody?
What do you mean?
Like, I mean, I'm pretty late to the show. I don't know how everyone knows each other, but it seems that a lot of people know. I don't know. I don't actually know, but are you friends with people? How did you get plugged in with CG?
Well, I started following Comicsgate on YouTube over a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like most people, starting with diversity in comics, and then I found Ethan, and then Yellow Flash and Tug and Mike S. Miller, and just
Yeah.
And I tweeted about their content a lot on Twitter when I found out they were on Twitter too,
Mm-hmm.
and slowly but surely got to know them, and eventually was followed back by Diversity in Comics and Ethan and all of them on Twitter.
Okay.
So sort of know them that way. I've never been on Ethan's stream, but I've been on a few others.
And you're a writer and artist also?
Yeah, I've written a science fiction novel, but I see myself more as an artist than a writer.
Okay. Are you planning to do a book of your own at some point?
Yeah, I'm working on Phoenix Ashes right now, which is a post-apocalyptic book set in East Texas. It's actually written by my husband, Dr. Lore, or Stephen Seal, and I'm doing the art for that, so it's a work in progress right now.
Okay. You said you're an artist. Have you been drawing long?
Yeah, I've been drawing forever, since I was a toddler.
Did you do your avatar there?
Actually, no. I got Sashi to do that for me.
Sashi. I'm not sure if I'm familiar.
Do you know Nurkish?
I've heard of Nurkish.
Okay, Nurkish used to have this comedy show where he roasted stuff in pop culture or just really cringy stuff. He's a little over the top and edgy sometimes, but so he was run off Twitter for a little while. And that's why he's been quiet. But for a short time there, at the height of his fandom, a lot of people were getting their avatars with the clown makeup on them as support for Nurkish. And Sashi was doing all these icons, so I wanted to get one too. And she did a really good job. She even got the lines under my eyes from my insomnia. So
oh no,
I've just kept it.
That sucks. I'm sorry. The
Oh, no,
insomnia
no.
part.
Oh, no, 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 I'm so used to it, it's just a part of who I am. It's just I have a hard time sleeping at night. I have to do my work at night
Oh,
because I'm so awake at night.
jeez. My wife actually has the same or similar problem. She tries to make herself just stay still in bed, but I feel so bad. Like the slightest thing, the slightest noise will make her wake up and she can't get back to sleep. I feel so
Yeah,
bad.
I'm the same way. I'm a very light sleeper. Steven's a very heavy sleeper. I mean, there could be a zombie apocalypse break into the bedroom. He wouldn't wake up.
I worry about the same thing too. The only thing that'll wake me up in the middle of the night is my cat. Recently, she likes to just like she jumps on the headboard and nestles between us, and like she'll hit me with her tail because she's what do you call it with night? She stays up at night.
Yeah,
Uh,
she's a night owl cat.
there you go. She sleeps in the middle of the day and then stays up at night and drives me crazy.
Yeah, well, cats are nocturnal.
Nocturnal, that's the word.
Yeah, both my cats like to jump up on the bed during the night, and they always freak me out, especially my, white Persian cat because she knows how to fling the door open.
Oh,
So
geez.
so the door will be, like, closed to a crack, and all of a sudden, it'll just fling open and bang on the wall, and I'll just flip out because it's
That's
like a
yeah.
intruder coming in the room, and I'm like, "Oh, it's just Keeb."
Yeah, absolutely. That's really freaky. I'm sorry. Yeah. I try to everyone has that feeling of, what if, but I try to suppress that as much as I possibly can because once I start thinking about that, like I never watch any scary movies ever because it'll stick with
Mhm.
me and that's all I'll think about.
Oh, yeah, I did something horrible to myself once. I watched a documentary
Mhm.
on the Manson family.
Oh, geez.
And, this was when my husband was deployed, so, yeah, that wasn't smart. So that kept me up for a few nights.
That happened down in that direction, right? Southish?
What I'm not I can't remember where
Jeez. Oh,
exactly it
no,
happened.
maybe it was
Was
California.
it?
I don't know. But
I
it
I
could
thought it was
no matter where it
California.
happens, it feels close to home, of course, especially if you're by
Mhm.
yourself. That's very scary.
Yeah.
Jeez. No, I've learned with myself like I have that I love a good mystery, like a detective kind of story, that sort of thing. But all the gruesome details, as fascinating as they are, I fixate on them and then I can't stop thinking about it. It's the worst. And then you wake up in the middle of the night, you see a shadow somewhere, and there's too many
Mhm.
mirrors in the house.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
sorry.
yeah, obsessive thinking can do that. It can make you obsess over the tiniest things
I
that
know.
or pick the things that annoy you the most and then just keep throwing that into your mind when you don't want it there.
Yeah, I don't know. Some people apparently can turn their brains off at certain points. I can't, but I know that if I don't fill my mind with certain things, I won't think about it. So I try to, I just don't let myself watch certain movies or certain TV shows. I
Yeah, I
don't
have to
know.
be careful about that too.
Jeez. But let's see. Nurse Joe was joking before about like some people I've kidded around that my voice is so slow and boring that
Oh, same
I could
here.
put anybody to sleep.
Same here.
Yeah.
I'm not a performer, so I mean, if I go on a live stream or do a video,
Yeah.
I have to I just especially when I'm making my own videos, sometimes I have to scrap them. It's like, "I'm talking so slow here. Everyone's gonna click away. I have to fix this."
It's really hard. There were a couple
Mhm.
of times you said you weren't on like Ethan's stream or anything like that with those people.
No, I've never asked Ethan to go on his stream
Oh,
because
okay.
I'd probably just be super awkward. So
Yeah, it's rough because they're very loud people and they know each other. So
Uh-huh.
there's so many disadvantages to try to find an opportunity to say anything meaningful.
Mhm. Yes,
I
exactly.
I hate being that plus one.
Mhm.
As much as I would love to get along with everybody, I've always compared it to like the high school feeling of can I sit with you guys at your table?
Yes,
And then
exactly.
everyone's talking. I have no idea what to talk about.
Mhm.
But there you
Yeah,
go.
I've been Doug has put up with me a few times. I've been on his show a few times.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
He seems like a
And
really nice guy.
oh, he's awesome. He's extremely nice.
Hmm. He's also very what's the word? Pious? Is that true?
Pious?
Pious, like religious.
Well, well, he has faith in Christ, but I wouldn't call him religious. I mean,
I know. I'm sorry. The words
I
of like.
I use different when I think religious, I think people who think they have to do a lot of good works to get to heaven,
I
and
understand. Yeah,
that's not Christianity isn't based on works, it's on faith,
gotcha.
so,
Devout.
uh,
That's a better word.
he he can be naughty sometimes, so, I mean, if
That's
you watch his stream oh gosh, yes, very much so.
he really dyed his hair pink, right?
He did. He looked like a bomb pop because his hair was pink and his beard was blue.
And that was
So
if he hit a certain tier, he promised he would do that.
yes, yes, and he hit both, so
Oh my goodness.
they
And did he keep it or he shaved it?
he kept it for a few days, then he got rid of the blue beard first, and then he kept the pink hair for a little longer, and then he shaved it all off, and now he looks like a gangster.
Jeez. Imagine having to do that. Oh man. I
Yeah,
had my hair.
I wouldn't do that.
If it was for like what? How much did he get? Like almost 200,000, right?
Yeah, 197 and some change.
Gosh. For 197, I would do it. I'd do a lot of things. Not a lot of things. I would go skiing on a dare. That's what I would do.
Well, I'm no good at skiing, so
Not?
I haven't even tried it. I'd probably kill
Wow.
myself because I have a army injury in my my left ankle and hip, and it just
Oh geez.
I
Have you
it,
ever talked about it?
about what?
Army stuff on publicly or anything?
Not much.
Okay, because
Not
I don't want
much.
to ask if you're not comfortable, and I find that
No,
stuff fascinating.
I'm comfortable with it.
Sure, I would actually love to hear about your experiences.
Well, I didn't do anything super hardcore like my husband did.
Hmm?
They actually sent him to Iraq, and he's been to Afghanistan too.
Hmm.
Me, they just sent me to Korea. So, uh, I was there when Kim Jong Un was being a bit of a d-bag and setting off nuclear bombs and
That
stuff
was
like
a very
that.
tense time.
It was tense, and some of my younger soldiers were a bit freaked out because they thought we're gonna be invaded. Uh,
Jeez.
I liked freaking them out, though. I was a little bad. I would, like, tell them the bad news. It's like, "Did you know?" Because they don't pay any attention to the news.
No?
It's like, "Did you know that Kim Jong Un just set off another bomb, a nuke?" And they, like, freak out, and
Jeez.
I'd tell them, you know, "He just said that he's going to rain down fire on us," and they'd be freaked out about that too, but I knew he was just, you know, poser, you know, just talking out his butt because that's all he did. Uh, the
Yeah.
few times the tensions got really bad were on the DMZ, the border,
Hmm.
and that's when there was some blood spilt, but, uh, other than that, I mean but, yeah, I never thought there was gonna be a real solution to all this unless war did happen, so what Trump's doing with him right now is just mind-blowing. I
He's so outside of the box.
He is.
It's so. I mean, I didn't vote for him, but I'm keeping an eye on this. Like, I'm finding this very refreshing. He's because he doesn't have a background in politics, at least not directly. He seems to be trying things that no one else would have even thought to do. Go flatter him, Kim. Go flatter him enough to like what Rodman did. Try that out. No one's tried
Yeah,
that yet. It seems to be
yeah.
working.
It's bizarre how far he's gotten with him,
Yeah.
'Cause I certainly didn't see that coming, with the way the North Koreans are, but, I
Hmm.
mean, something had to happen soon, though, because of how bad it is up there. Uh,
Right. They just keep running out of resources, right?
they do, they are so low on resources, the only thing they had to really sell as a tourist item to try to make some money on the DMZ, was some tea, and the tea is made out of stripped tea bark. I mean, tree bark.
Jeez.
So they don't even have proper tea leaves over there. They are stripping the bark off trees to make tea,
Man.
and and I tried it. It's some bitter stuff. It's not nice.
I've seen a few documentaries about defectors and the kind of stories that they told when they came It's
Oh, yeah.
amazing that they would just like run over. Well, some people have to cross a river with guards possibly seeing them. Very scary.
Yeah, and most of them have to go through China first, and when they're in China, it's equally dangerous because if the Chinese catch them,
Mhm.
they will deport them immediately back to North Korea where they will be killed and their family will be killed.
Yeah.
So they have to be super careful if they cross into China, and they have to make it to South Korea from China.
Jeez.
And there's some Christian churches there in China that are kind of underground who help them make it to South Korea.
Uh-huh.
Um, but yeah, a lot of the defectors living in South Korea are just complete. I mean, they have a huge culture shock going from starving to just food everywhere. Some of them say they just live for food once they get to South Korea.
Hmm.
Um, Others who have the more, communist mindset are very angry when they find out they have to work for a living when they go to South
Really?
Korea. And they don't.
Okay.
They're shocked. It's like, what? I have to work.
Hmm.
So it depends. There's different mindsets.
And how
Uh,
many years did you spend there?
I was in Korea for almost 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And your husband, you said, was in the Middle East. Were you?
Yeah. After Korea, they sent him to Iraq.
Mhm.
I was out by then. Um, so I stayed home in Texas when he went to Iraq.
Okay.
And he was on this really small base that was getting fired on every single day. Every single day they were shooting rockets at him.
Jeez.
Yeah, but the terrorists they had the worst aim, so it was kind of like if you stand still, you won't get hit. So,
Wow. Man, I couldn't imagine. I have so much admiration. Like I'm one of those nerds that like I love reading about that life, but I'm just I'm one of those softy artists. I could never. But
oh
I
well.
have so much admiration.
Hey, I'm a softy artist too, so if I
Mhm.
can make it in the army, I think pretty much anyone can. You just have to have them. It's more mind over matter to get
Yeah.
through it, especially the training. If you're set to get through it in your mind, you can do it, even if
Mhm.
it's like really taxing on you physically.
Well, I remember when 9/11 happened, I was in 10th grade, just starting 10th grade. And I was so ready. If I had just been a couple of years older, I would have uh, signed up immediately.
Oh yeah.
But then there was that 2 year gap where we kind of we saw how things played out.
Mhm.
And I was, by the time I was 18, I was like, wait, what's going on? I still have no idea what's going on or why it's going on. But everyone, of course, was so angry. And I was
Yeah.
so ready to join up.
Well, that's good.
But
Yeah, I wish more young men had that mindset these days.
I don't know. I mean, it's funny to think that a lot of people like in that age range now, they grew up in a post 9/11 world. So they didn't see or feel what it was like on that
Yeah.
day.
Oh no,
I
right.
wonder if in school they make them watch the footage. Because I
I don't
remember
know.
watching for 3 days straight. I just had the TV on. I was sitting in my room. I was so angry and scared and every emotion
Mhm.
possible. Because my home was about 10 miles from ground zero. And
Wow.
we could see the smoke. And I
Wow.
was so angry because it happened like right next to me.
Man.
Yeah, it was wild. I remember driving on the highway because the smoke actually from the Twin Towers, if I'm not telling the story well, the smoke after the towers fell stayed in the air for like
Mhm.
days, and it didn't come down until it rained. And you could just see New York was like covered in this
Oh, the
permanent
fallout,
cloud.
yeah.
Yeah, it was a mess. Yuri Fanatic says they don't show 9/11. Well, it's traumatizing, right? But you have to, if they have it on YouTube, I would say just look up from beginning to end, like the way that day. I don't know, Serena, were you watching it while it was happening, or did you catch it in the middle?
Yeah, no, I caught it live. It was yeah, I saw it on TV live.
Yeah, and it just kept getting worse and worse. Like we didn't know what happened at first. I remember I was in a classroom. This is a very strange thing to be talking about on this stream. I'm really sorry. But I think it's really fascinating. But in that, knock on wood,
Yeah.
you know what I mean. But
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I was in the middle of class. My teacher turns on the TV because he was going to show us some video in history class. And he's flipping through the channels, and I saw just the briefest glimpse of the first tower on fire. And I said, wait, 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 what is that? Is that a movie? And we saw just the first tower had been hit. And we're watching, we go back and then we're watching it like, wait, what's going on? We thought it was a movie. It wasn't, of course.
Yeah.
And I saw like live, the second tower got hit. And I said, wait, wait,
Yeah.
wait, that's another explosion. What just happened? And
Mhm.
so we were watching it in history class as it happens. And it's like, wow, this is actually happening 10 miles away from us. It
Mhm.
was it was wild. And then of course they did the whole everyone stay in your classrooms. It was very scary.
Yeah, and, I don't know, I mean, Gen X, we had a moment like that too when we were kids. We got to see we were all gathered into our classrooms with a TV they rolled in,
Mhm.
and we were all excited because the first teacher was gonna go into space. So we watched live as the NASA shuttle took off into space, or headed for space and then blew up in front of our eyes.
Jeez.
So I really believe that's one reason why Gen Xers are so cynical, because we almost all of us experienced that live when we were children in the classroom. So we
That's an
saw.
interesting perspective.
Mhm. And it's something if you bring up to any Gen Xer, they'll have a story about it.
Really?
Mhm.
What year was that?
Oh my gosh, I am terrible with dates. I
Mhm.
think it was in the early '80s. Let me check. Challenger explosion. My husband knows all the dates by heart for everything, but I don't.
Sand slasher? Oh,
1986.
okay.
So I was around 10, 9 or 10.
Jeez. And all these people are saying that they were born in 2000, 2001, 1997.
Mhm.
It's just amazing to me. Like I really would encourage all of them, if you can find the news footage from that day, watch it from as soon as it starts to like watching the like the reporters saying, "Oh, we're getting reports of so and so happening," and nobody knew what was going on because it was just
Oh, yeah.
explosions. Just explosions. You see the plane live hitting, and it's like, what is going on? Are we under attack? Nobody knew what was going on. But to go back to what we were saying, like if I was 15 at the time, I think if I had just been a little older, I was so mad. Everyone was so angry, at least in my area.
So how
Um,
old are you now?
I'm 33 now, so this was,
Okay,
yeah.
so you're are you a millennial? Are you on the older
I
end
think
of
if
the
I looked it
millennials?
up, I'm Gen Y. So I was born in 1985. Gen
Okay,
Y, I
so
think.
okay, so you're in the older millennial set or Gen Y,
I
which
think
is
so.
the early name before millennials was coined.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I see a lot of Gen Zers in the chat. I have a lot of hope for Gen Z. They're really smart.
Hmm.
I think Gen Z is gonna really, turn things around for the better once they get in power.
I think so too. It's interesting to see how counterculture now is leaning center and right, as opposed to
Mhm.
where we grew up. It was always going left, it seemed. But I
Yeah,
just want to see some sanity back.
absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
I mean, even the stuff with Comicsgate, like we're seeing now a sort of a tug of war, but now I don't know. People are at least out in the open saying like, no, I'm not going to let you bully me and call me things like alt-right and Nazi and all that stuff.
Mhm.
It seems that the far left types, they like to slap labels on people. And even if you defend yourself, you look guilty. It's very middle schoolish, but
It's because they're tribalists. They're taking a step backward in human history to going back to being in tribes.
mhm,
That's in a tribe, there's no individual. It's just, they pick a trait and they put you in a group because you have that trait, you are that group, and you have to think like this way.
right.
It's a
Things that you can't
tribalism.
help. You were born this way.
Yeah. And this is a very primitive mindset that Western culture, freed itself from,
Mhm.
um, and they're trying to go backwards back to that. So it's really regressive behavior.
And they did, at least when I was growing up, they targeted young people who don't know better. And especially get them in high school, get them in college when they're away from their parents. They like to try to instill these belief systems on younger people who want to try to change the world for the better. So why not try to paint this as we're helping people by doing all these things that are, I would consider immoral or at least shady.
Hmm. Yeah.
Is that what blue pill, huh? I see. Yeah, there was a lot of talk with when Trump was running, and we could talk about other things if other people want to talk about other things. I could finish, but I didn't like Trump at first in 2015, but because I grew up in the New York area, he's been around all these years, and we always thought he had like mob ties and stuff like that. But I mean, he's doing as good a job as I've seen any president do in my lifetime, so I have no problem with him now.
Yeah. I mean, when Trump first got on the scene, he was being more obnoxious than he is now, but I think it was all part of his 4D chess strategy. Because how many people did he have? He was running against what, 16 people or something
It was a
in the
lot, yeah.
Republican Party? He had to stand out, so his first plan was to be obnoxious, loud,
Mhm.
controversial, because that way the media only focused on him all the time. Trump, 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 Trump.
Yeah.
But once he won the Republican ticket, then he changed his tune. He became
Mm.
more respectful, blah, blah, blah. But by then, the leftists had all these clips of him being obnoxious, and they just stuck with that.
Yeah.
And they're not going to watch what he actually and listen to what he actually says anyway. So they had their minds made up at that point. So,
Mhm.
which is hilarious because the left loved him before he ran against Hillary. I mean,
Yeah.
Jesse Jackson gave him the award for helping African Americans
Yeah.
in 1998 or 99. It's ridiculous. He was. I mean, there's all these pictures of Bill Clinton and Hillary hanging out with Trump, and they loved him so much. And then he runs against Hillary, and they all pretend that they've always hated him.
Yeah. It's very bizarre, and it's almost like we're seeing a sort of seduction happening in before our very eyes. When people can't stop thinking about somebody, they say he's living rent free in their heads.
Mm-hmm.
There's this weird obsession. Like, imagine if anyone knows the word tsundere. It's in anime and manga. There's a if you imagine a cactus, where it wants to be hugged, but it's also prickly.
Yeah.
Maybe the far left is very tsundere, and they want to love their president, but they're also very prickly. And
Uh-huh.
it's like, no, get away from me, Trump. I hate you. I hate you so much. I can't stop thinking about you, but I hate you.
Right.
Who knows, man? But I agree. Let's see. Gus Tyler Bush says, "Let's talk about something else. Politics are depressing."
Yes, politics stuff.
I'm so sorry. I'm not good at steering conversations, but yeah, I found your background fascinating, and I would love to hear about it some more sometime.
Well,
Um,
thank you.
I wonder, I wonder which way we should take the conversation, because basically, I was just planning to do a live stream of just like thanking everybody, you know, for being interested in the first place.
Mhm.
Tonight's the last night for the book, or this
Right.
book, I should say. So I don't know. I just wanted to make it a worthy evening to thank everybody.
I really wanted this book, though.
Yeah.
Are you still gonna publish it? Are you
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's one of
okay,
those flexible goals, actually.
okay.
And so even though we're not at the target,
Mhm.
everyone who orders a book through Indiegogo is going to get one. And then
Oh,
I'm going to
good.
print them all. And in June, I'm going to offer them on my normal. I have a store on my website through Etsy, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And also, my next book it's launched now. It's just going to be an illustrations collection.
Uh-huh.
So people can order that and the other book, and they'll arrive at the same time in June. I'm going to publish them at the same time.
Oh, okay,
But
cool.
yeah, there's no technical like time limit on buying the books. It's just for the next
Okay.
3 months, basically, I'm going to be putting them together. So the money was basically to help me publish it and also draw new strips.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. Um, yeah, so I don't know. That was my plan. And then I was gonna just talk about like how I was gonna celebrate tomorrow by going skiing. I haven't been skiing in a long time, and with my luck though, I'll probably bust my arm and I can't work on the books.
Oh, no, don't say that.
No, it's been so long, so I'm gonna be on the bunny slopes for a little while to recalibrate my body. But I'm also really out of shape.
Yeah,
I
I
hope I don't
know.
tire
All the
myself
sitting
out.
and drawing does that.
It does. I actually had to get let's see. I had to get a standing desk to like work on my posture because they say manga artists, because they're hunched over, they all develop back problems.
Oh, yeah.
Do you feel with your drawing, like do you draw a lot per day and you have like back problems or
I
anything like
have
that?
I've had back problems for years. Even before I went in the military, I've had back problems, so they've been plaguing me for a long time.
Do you work on a flat surface or do you raise it up?
Well, when I'm doing my comic work, it's on a slanted desk, art
Okay.
desk. Um, when I'm just sketching, I'm in front of the computer. It's just laying flat, so
Mhm.
I probably don't have the best plan for taking care of my back.
Yeah, I think the leaning forward and leaning over is what gets people.
Mhm.
I even would take a flat board and raise it, like put it on my lap so that it's against the table, and
Uh-huh.
then it is raised up so I can draw. I don't know. It's not the most elegant thing, but basically, I
Yeah,
learned years ago leaning over is gonna, for the long term, it's not a good long term plan.
right.
I don't know.
There's a
It's
lot of, older ladies in Korea who are permanently hunched over
really
because, they spent their lives working in the rice fields, and they
wow.
they have to bend over to, harvest the rice, and then when they get older, they're, like, permanently hunched like that.
Jeez, my grandma's like that, but she used to work in the tobacco fields years ago.
Oh,
But that's when she was very young. I don't know, but she now has like, this is mean, but like how that hunch, like a turtle hunch almost, but her
yeah.
back seems to be gaining mass as she's leaning forward.
Oh, yeah, that happens too.
But she's still cute. I love my
Oh,
grandma.
yes.
But
Little ladies are always cute.
yeah, but that's something, if anyone listening wants to be an artist, you have to be very careful. If your body's telling you that your posture's uncomfortable, don't try to force your way through it. You have to find a way to draw comfortably. At
Yeah.
least that's my advice.
So, what kinda skiing do you do? Do you just go on the easy slopes, or are you more hardcore?
Oh no, not hardcore. I'm not a thrill seeker really. I find skiing to be very relaxing. So I go on like the easy and medium slopes, but
Okay.
anything where it feels like you're gliding is very nice. But
Mhm.
I can't go fast. I don't like going fast. I get scared very easily.
Ah, okay.
But yeah, I love the feeling of going on like the ski lift, and you feel the wind and you can see
Uh-huh.
the really far distance. So I want to bring my phone and listen to beautiful music and just have one of those rare days, because I haven't been able to really take a day off to just, I don't know, take a selfish day, Once
Yeah.
in a while you
Mhm.
got to do that.
Oh, absolutely.
I can't remember the last time I really, I mean, that's not fair for me to say, I guess, but a lot of days usually there's work to do or there's some errand to do, but I'm
Mhm.
taking the full day to just be so selfish
That's
tomorrow.
good.
Yeah.
That's normal. Everyone's gotta do that.
Gotta take like a day vacation once in a while. Even if
What
I go on vacation, I'm supposed to go to Greece after summer, but that's
Oh,
on
yeah?
family business. I can't
Uh-huh.
relax. I can't relax at all doing that. I'm gonna I'm gonna be worried the whole time about like, oh no, what if I get robbed or something?
But
But
the food there is so good.
yes, it is excellent. That's I compare Greece to Mexico actually a lot. Like the people there are really nice, but the country's so poor. And
Yeah.
you
I
always feel like you're looking over your shoulder. Maybe that's just me, but I get a little paranoid because there's like shifty people like kind of looking at you. If they know you're
yeah.
an American, I get worried.
I got that feeling when I was in, Romania. Um,
Okay.
An old gypsy man tried to steal from me on a train once. Yeah, and,
Pickpocket?
huh?
Like a pickpocket?
Yeah, and he was wearing the old gypsy clothes. He was wearing the black suit coat and the, wide-brimmed black hat.
Jeez.
So he looked really adorable. But, yeah, he was, I felt the tug at my backpack, and I turned around and I waved my finger at him like, "Naughty, naughty." And
Jeez.
I checked my backpack and, he didn't I was too fast, he didn't get anything out of it. But,
Were you trained by then?
hmm?
Like, were you, Army,
Oh, yeah,
military
I
trained then?
was a soldier, I was on vacation.
Oh, okay.
I was on leave.
Jeez.
Uh, but, he saw that I wasn't mad at him, so, uh,
My goodness. Was
he
the rest
didn't.
of the trip good at least?
Oh, yeah, it was great. We got to go to, well, my husband knows I'm a big Dracula fan, so he took me to all the, historical spots for Dracula. We got to see the home he was born in and,
The historical Dracula or the fictional?
the historical Dracula,
Oh, that's
Vlad
cool.
Vlad Dracul, the dragon. He was born in Sighisoara in Romania, which is an old citadel. It's like a walled city on a hill,
Uh-huh.
and there's a bunch of individual homes inside the citadel. And there was a small yellow cottage he was born in, and the couple living there took us into the bedroom he was born in. And they told us how he used to look out this window into the courtyard and see people get executed when he was 4 years old.
Jeez.
Hmm. And then we had dinner at his house there, and because they served dinner there. And then we went to a castle that he once went on a hunting trip to, Bran Castle, and we took a tour of the castle there. So that was fun.
That's so cool. I have a lot of questions because I'm also not so much Dracula specifically, but including, but I like vampire fiction when I was younger.
Yeah.
What got you into that?
Oh, probably The Lost Boys, Anne Rice,
Oh, I'm a
Vampire
huge Anne Rice fan.
Chronicles. Oh yeah, I read all those books when I was younger, and I of course watched a lot of vampire movies.
Oh, jeez.
uh, I like them because they're more usually with most vampires they're more of a subtle enemy,
Mhm.
hidden enemy, uh, and it's just I've always liked them. They're very interesting as a villain.
I've liked them in the romantic sense that they can live such amazing lives that
Hmm.
I'll never live anything even remotely like that. But if anyone's listening, this is nerd talk now. But like, because we're such, because we've read Anne Rice, like I would read about Lestat's life and Lewis, and oh man, what extravagant, fascinating historical lives. I really felt like I was there. I liked her early books especially. I
Hmm.
I just love the decadence, the castles, the costumes,
Oh
the
yeah, the whole genre is so cool.
it's so fun. But that sounds amazing to get to go and see in Romania. Like it must have been such a rich experience to feel like you're really there in the
Oh,
fiction.
it was amazing because I even ate the same meal that was served at Dracula's castle in the original. If you read the original Dracula, they served it to me where he was born. It was the cabbage rolls. Uh, so that was cool too. Someone in the chat's asking if I went through a goth phase or if you went through a goth phase. I'm not sure who they're talking to. And he says, I smell an emo. Well, you got to understand this was the 80s and emo wasn't really quite a thing yet.
That was
Uh,
countercultural.
yeah, there wasn't really, we weren't coined emo in the 80s. What it was, and there was no goth gear to buy. There was no Hot
No hot
Topic.
topic, you know.
This was all before any of that commercialized stuff. So, I mean, in the 80s, I wore, the punk looking stuff, so
Mhm.
I wouldn't say I was a goth. I liked vampires, but I mean, I was wearing neon. So, now when the 90s hit and everything got dark and grungy, yeah, I started wearing black more often. Did I
Mhm.
dress like a goth? I wouldn't say I did because, I mean, no, I was just jeans and t-shirt tomboy.
Yeah.
Uh, but it wasn't until ah, either you got the stuff or made the goth stuff if you were gonna really dress goth, and I did have my best friend was goth, so she went all out. I
Mhm.
didn't. I didn't. Uh, I
Never
liked the
go full
goth
goth.
I liked the literature and stuff, but I didn't dress that way.
I see.
But yeah, that was way before Hot Topic.
Yeah, Hot Topic was I mean, any sort of store, once they start making that cool and hip, that's where emo came in, where
Mhm.
people are doing it for attention, I felt like.
Yeah,
And, especially in high school, I always felt an affinity for that sort of, person, but I never showed it in my clothing, let's say. But I was
yeah,
into all the same stuff. I never was showy about it. So then the downside is when people are called emo, I think it's the opposite. They want to project that they're cool, but inside they're just conformist. And in some ways, that's the opposite of what a true punk or goth was supposed to be. They were
right,
raising a middle finger to the whole world, you know?
right.
It's all about counterculture, I would think, before it became cool to do so.
And it's funny, the counterculture now is, getting married, having a family,
Isn't that funny? So
and
we're
not
still
getting
doing it.
divorced.
We're
That's the new counterculture, it's hilarious.
I'm happy to be on the winning side at all times. Look what happened to. Everyone always talks about Star Wars and everything, and when Star Wars was back when we were younger. Not that we're old or anything, but like
I'm
s-
pretty old.
we are. We got the whippersnappers who were born in the 2000s, but like
Right.
Star Wars used to be cool for us, and then it went mainstream. As soon as we
Mhm.
heard it was going to Disney, I was like, okay, it's over. Star Wars is over. Because I
Yeah.
knew once the mainstream gets its hands on anything, it stops being cool.
Yeah, it's true.
So maybe it's a good thing in some ways that like Comicsgate is really just another form of indie comics. So I'm so happy to see that it's thriving again.
Oh,
But
yeah, it's
indie
a lot of
comics
fun.
has always been countercultural, subversive, weird. Um, I was just talking to a couple of gentlemen on, gosh, I forgot their names. One of them was Professor Geek and Nasser, actually, Rabadi.
Yeah.
I was hearing about their books, and they're so indie. I love it. I love that this is a movement again,
Oh, yeah, I read Stardust, it's excellent.
man. Someday I want to have a place where all the books are all listed in one place, so I could order them all at once.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I know there's people that missed out on some of the early stuff like Cyber Frog and, Jawbreakers.
Yeah, and I was even joking in passing. I would love for everyone to have some kind of convention, just a small Comicsgate con. But then there's some weirdos who are going to show up and try to trash the party.
Yeah, I Ethan was talking about that and or Mike S. Miller, or
Oh,
maybe
really?
both. Yeah, one of their ideas is that they go to a regular con, but they have a Comicsgate meetup in a certain hotel room or something that they rent,
Oh, okay.
uh, as one way of doing it since we probably can't, make our own con right now. It's too early, but that would be one way for
That
people
is
to
a
do
good
meet
idea.
up.
So just
Mhm,
like get a random like small hall in across the street,
mhm.
but then the weirdos would show up. Ugh,
Oh, yeah, but let them show up.
I guess. Yeah, I would love to meet everybody. I've done a couple of cons here and there, but
Mhm.
usually I don't know anyone. So finally, I know other creators and
Yeah.
lots of readers who are passionate. Have you ever been to a convention?
Oh, yeah, sure. I used to go to MobaCon when I was younger, and, that's a convention in Mobile, Alabama. Very
Okay.
small convention. This was before, anime was even available to be bought anywhere in America.
Okay.
So these conventions, that's the time to get your anime.
Hmm.
Uh, 'Cause they'd get VHS tapes of it
And
and sell
subs.
it there. So, anyways, I'd go to MobaCon when I was younger. I would hang out with some of my favorite creators there, and at the time, I was a big Dragonlance nerd, so,
Mm.
uh, Dragonlance is a high fantasy, series of novels that were really popular back then. But, and one year I was a guest there, and I was just doing lots of, commissions of people's characters.
That's
And
cool.
then, I also been to Dragon Con, which is huge now. I mean, I went in the early 2000s and it was nice, but now it's massive. It is so massive, you can't even get a room in the main hotel anymore where Dragon Con's at, so, it's
Or do you find the
crazy.
crowds are generally welcoming, or do you get a feeling of certain people are not welcome? Hint, hint.
Oh, no, totally welcoming. It's just one big party. Everyone's happy to see everybody there. I never got a hint of that stuff. Now, this was the last time I went to Dragon Con was a few years ago, so I don't know if it's changed or not.
Mm.
I kinda doubt it. There's just way too many people there for a few SJWs to ruin it all for everybody, but, um,
Hmm.
I never encountered anything really political at Dragon Con every time I went, so
Really,
now
I'm sorry.
it might be because it's in Georgia, Atlanta,
Okay.
Georgia.
Yeah.
Now California is a different animal.
Yeah, that's something to think about then, because the cons that I've been to, like Small Press Expo near Washington, D.C.
Mhm.
DC is not known for, political neutrality. And I always get weird vibes, like I'm not welcome there. If I joked with myself, if I wore a MAGA hat just to see what would happen,
Oh.
how fast would I get jumped? Um, it's really it's sad. I really wish that conventions especially could just be politically neutral places, like a watering hole. Everyone's welcome, just come and hang out. Nobody like nobody bring any weapons, political
Mhm.
weapons. Let's just enjoy comics. I mean, some of the big publishers now, well, I'm sure I would love to get a lady's perspective actually with Captain Marvel and all that stuff, but
Mhm.
the big two don't seem very accommodating to their core audience. But as a I guess as the target demographic for, say, Captain Marvel, like, do you find that kind of content something that you're attracted to, or would you want other genres? Like, let's say if I was a comics creator looking to, I always wonder about how do we get more women to read comics? That's what I'm trying to say, I guess. And what kind of
Okay.
genres do you think we should focus on, and do you think they're doing a good job right now?
Okay. First of all, I have 0 interest in Captain Marvel,
Okay.
because she's a Mary Sue overpowered, uh look, most of my favorite heroes are men, are male characters, because to me they're more interesting than females. I don't know if that's sexist or not, but that's the way I've always felt about, when I read, superhero books or whatever. I usually choose stuff like, Silver Surfer, Daredevil.
So
Uh,
in the superhero genre,
yeah, the
okay,
male superheroes are my favorite, and I don't need a female one to feel better about myself or anything ridiculous. That I've never even heard of that before
I see.
until this SJW stuff started. I thought that was weird. But, basically, for women on the whole, as a larger group to get into comics, they want slice of life type stories.
I've always thought so too.
Mhm. That's why when you see all these women writers writing superhero books, the genre changes from action to slice of life,
Mhm.
and you see, on these Comicsgate videos, they're reviewing them, it's like, okay, here they are in a coffee shop, here they are talking to their friends, here they are at a restaurant, when's the action happen? It's like, it's because the genre's been changed. It's now slice of life. Instead of having a big villain, they have a bully to deal with, or they
So
have
no,
a catty coworker or something stupid like that.
wow. I've always do you read manga at all?
I do, yeah.
Okay, so I've always felt like the shoujo and josei genres, if anyone doesn't know, that's young women's and, let's say, older ladies, but that's not the right way to put it. But josei is for mature female readers, let's say.
Mhm.
Professional comics about entering the workplace or being a young mother, for example, or just running a home. Like these are demographics that in Japan they recognize, oh, we want everyone to read manga. So let's literally make books about every possible lifestyle that
Mhm.
anyone would want to read. There's manga about cooking, about being a lawyer.
Right, uh-huh. Yes.
Um, so in America, I see this as such a missed opportunity that we're focusing on the power fantasy genre so much, but what about all these other genres that are untapped? Even fantasy, like we talked about Anne Rice,
Mhm.
not in the direction of Twilight, let's say, young adults, but I think like the fantasy genre, not high fantasy, but I know a lot of ladies liked the Anne Rice books, and as
Yeah,
growing up, I loved them too. I didn't actually like superheroes, but I loved romance books too, which was, I
yeah.
guess, the perfect alpha male or anything. But that's the kind of stuff I always wished I could read more of.
Yeah, we anything that has a focus on the characters and interactions with other characters or romance
Mhm.
or regular day-to-day moments is going to attract a female audience. Probably the most violent book that I know that attracts a huge female audience would be ElfQuest.
Okay,
I don't know if you've heard of ElfQuest, but
heard of
it's pretty famous for having a huge female audience, and it's been around since the '70s. And it just wrapped up last year. It finally finished, but it's by a female artist named Wendy Penny, and it's basically about a tribe of elves called the Wolf Riders, and how they have to survive in a changing world. And they're always pitted against the humans who are very superstitious about them and want to wipe them out.
Mhm.
Um, but even though it has, action and violence in it, it's very hyper focused on the interpersonal relationships between the elves, and the character development. And we do see some slice of life moments in the book too. So
Mhm.
it's very popular with women readers.
I've always wished what you're describing sounds awesome because American comics can grow so much, but we have to make books that people want to read as opposed to what people think people like. I'm speaking very generally. Let's say Marvel says women should read these books as opposed to asking, like, what do you want to read, ladies? I want to make books for you. So I've
Yeah.
always made it a huge mission for me to, especially like things like Problematic, which I've always found is sort of neutral. I think girls and guys like it equally. I want girls and guys to read my books. I don't want to exclude anyone, at least not on purpose. Like certain genres are interesting to certain people, let's say. But I hate the idea that comics, for some people, they're like, oh, it's only for boys and it only has to
Oh yeah.
be power fantasies.
No, stories are for everyone.
Yeah,
Like someone in the chat said, "Hey, I read ElfQuest,"
yeah.
you know, and I was like, "Well, yeah, I'm not saying it's only for girls. I'm saying
Oh,
it attracts a large female audience, but there's my husband enjoys ElfQuest too. There's a lot about it that's really interesting. The art's phenomenal.
mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of, there's kind of a touch of sword and sorcery in there too. There's a little bit of Conan influence. So it's gonna appeal to anyone who likes, a riveting story, I think. A good hero's journey. It's a very long hero's journey, but it's really well done.
Right. And that was 100% indie, right?
Yes, it was actually the first comic to become a graphic novel, and it set the stage for other comics to also become graphic novels and be sold in bookstores
Wow.
in that format.
Yeah, I just when I look at the stuff with what Marvel's doing, they're excluding, I don't know if it's on purpose or what they're up to, but why why make so many people angry when you have the publishing power to make books about anything? And why is it indies who have to always carry that torch to try risky things? It's
Yeah.
sad. But also, there's an opportunity for us. There's a huge vacuum that's probably going to be blown open for the next few years, where if we can, as a group, let's say Comics Game, any indie comics creator, there's a huge opening for us to do some really great books
Mhm.
that can, in some ways, solidify the indie movement as like, no, we are making the better books. So now
Yeah.
we can make books like, for some reason, like I want everyone to read comics, so I want to make comics for everyone.
Uh-huh.
Um, but that on the same in the same way though, I don't do like extreme stuff either. So maybe my stuff is too generic for others. I don't know.
No, 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 I would not call your stuff generic at all.
I
Uh,
I don't. I mean, some of the guys in Comicsgate were like calling me like low T. And I was
what?
like, I'm
Okay,
not
that sounds
bro-ish.
like something Malin would say.
No, no, not
Uh,
me. I'm not gonna say who it was,
who's
but
okay, okay. Well,
they were joking.
you gotta keep in mind that, a lot there's some, artists in Comicsgate who are really going for the extreme style of the '90s, you know,
Yeah,
which is very high T, to the point of near insanity, in my opinion.
yeah.
I did buy a ton of those books in the '90s,
Mhm.
so I was also a fan of, like, X-Force and the X-Men and, you know, Rob Liefeld and all these crazy people, but, uh, it's not the best storytelling genre, in my opinion.
Okay.
It's a little over the top. Okay, maybe more than a little over the top. You can have, you know, a masculine story without drawing every character 10 feet tall and looking like all their veins are about to pop out of their body. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just you know what I mean?
I've always wanted to try something like that, but I would draw it very differently the way that they draw it. Not that
Yeah.
that's bad, or not that what they do is bad. It just has never appealed to me. Like really, let's say quote unquote high tea comics, uh,
Mhm.
super hot babes and like ripped up clothing. Like that's just not what I do, and it's not what I'm interested in. But I've always wanted to try to tackle the genre. I don't
Uh-huh.
know,
Oh,
but
you
there's
can
so many of those books. It's like, what's the point? It's so oversaturated almost.
well, you can always do a one shot and see how you feel about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how long it takes you to draw. Me, I'm pretty slow. I used to be fast, but, you
Oh
know,
yeah.
taking care of a kid at home and stuff, you know, slows my art down a little bit, so
I understand.
but, yeah, if you think you have the time for it, I'd say give it a shot.
Yeah, we're in a weird place. At least personally, I'd love to hear where you are and what you want to do. Where I'm stuck, unfortunately, right now is that I used to freelance, and now I kind of can't freelance anymore because of I used to get work through Reddit, and now I
Right.
can't post there anymore. Um,
Yeah, I heard
yeah,
about that.
I can't find work where I used to find work anymore. So I'm in this kind of make it or break it position with comics where I want to keep drawing comics, but I also have to have a certain amount of income per month or I have to find another job. So I'm kind of going month to month to see what, like, I'm printing these books. I want to see what people want from me. And then I want to try experimenting with different types of books, but I don't know if I can just keep doing Indiegogos or if people are going to get sick of that or I don't know, but I do want to keep making books. I love comics. I just got to make sure that it's comics people want, you know? How
Have
about
you
you?
well, for a while when I was strapped for cash, I started doing some children's books, and, they can pay decently to get you through a few months, you know?
Okay.
Uh,
Did you
I
work
mean
through an agent?
no, I don't have an agent, I had to be my own manager, which sucks, but
That is
uh,
hard. I tried that too. It didn't work.
I have worked with a few big publishers like White Wolf Games and Carol Graph New York publishers, but, lately I was just, getting work from there's a lot of groups of local authors that really wanna do children's books no matter where you live.
Uh-huh.
And, you can make some good income if you find these groups. You just look for, like, the local authors groups in your area, and you can find a lot of people who are willing to pay for, illustrations for their children's books that they wanna publish.
I'll have to look into
So
that.
yeah, so I was doing that for a little while, But then when this year hit, I had to turn down a few, like 3 books
Mhm.
because it's impossible for me to do my comic and do the children's books at the same time. Now,
Jeez.
maybe if I was younger, I'd be able to do it, but not anymore. So I'm just focusing on the comic right now.
I see. Yeah, for the younger people, it's good to keep in mind if you're gonna take your risks, do it when you're before you're married with kids.
Mhm. Do it
'Cause
while you have time.
that's when it all changes. You do not have time for any of that stuff anymore.
Right.
So, I'm facing that precipice now. I got married, and it's like we're talking about, "Okay, so when do we wanna start thinking about kids?" And it's like, "Wait, wait, wait, I have to get my career in have to get my career in order first."
Yeah. And it's fun to have a long honeymoon period too before you have kids, you
I
know?
know. Unfortunately, we're both a little on the older side, so we have to kind of make every second count and decide what we're gonna
Oh,
do.
well, that makes sense too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay though. I mean, I'm not complaining at all. I just have to make sure that whatever career moves I make now, I have to make sure that I'm not chasing a dream, but actually trying something that's working. So this
Yeah, I
past
hear
year's
you.
been very strange comics wise, but finally people seem to be reading my stuff. I mean, I've been doing this for 15 years almost, and it's taken that much time for me to find an audience. But as the name of this video implies, that's an introvert problem. It's hard to find an audience when you can't talk to people.
Well, have you thought of moving to a different platform other than Reddit? I mean, I know you're on
Yeah.
YouTube now and Twitter, but
Mhm.
I used to make a ton of money just doing commissions off of DeviantArt. Now, I don't know if DeviantArt's died at this point, but it
Mhm.
seems to be a lot quieter these days. But
Hmm.
I don't know. I mean, if you can get yourself a fan base, you can make a decent amount of income each month just by doing commissions. That's what I
Okay.
used to do.
I thought Patreon was before the controversy. I thought Patreon was a great idea.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I've never done anything like that,
Mhm.
but, I heard it works really well for other creators.
Yeah, I've got to look for alternatives. Darkry says just make fetish art.
Yeah,
Not a,
I if you wanna be a degenerate furry, yeah, sure,
I
you can
know.
just I
Isn't it funny? Like as an artist, you certainly can do that stuff, but do you?
I won't. I
No,
refuse to
no,
myself.
I
It's like,
can't.
I'd rather be poor than have that
I
bad
know.
reputation in my
I have. No, I want to actually be a real artist, and not to say. Well, what am I? Who am I worried about offending? They're not
I hope
listening.
there's no furries in the chat.
Well, what am I gonna say? I don't judge anybody, but that's not what I'm, interested in, and I don't want my name to be attached to that stuff, I can tell you that. Cam says, "I've shown a nice range of style." Yeah, I if anyone's curious, I have been updating my gallery actually. If you go to studio NJ, as in New Jersey.com, I've been updating my gallery, and, yeah, my next book is actually ink illustrations that I've been doing. And Gus Tyler Bush says wants to see if I do a fantasy comic, which I do have a fantasy story, but it's text. It's like an illustrated book, um, not a comic. But that's another experiment I wanted to do, Serena. Is
Oh,
I wonder if Comicsgate would be interested in illustrated books, not just comics. Do you think there's an opening for that?
yeah, sure, I say go for it. Give it a shot and find out.
It's worth a try because I have a lot of graphic novel scripts that I don't think I'm ever going to have time to draw them. But
Mhm,
the scripts are finished and they're pretty good. And since you and I like we love things like Anne Rice,
mhm,
I like books. I wish I had more time for them, but I like a good written story as well, and I love illustrations.
yeah.
Maybe this is the crowd that'll be interested. We'll have to test that out.
Yeah.
Time wise, I think I might wrap this up on sooner. I don't know. Oh, Mr. Marcello asks, when are we going to see Greg's date story arc with Wendy? If anyone knows what that, that's a great question, Mr. Marcello. That's a storyline. Greg, the main character, has been forever single in the series, and I've alluded to he's going to end up with possibly get a crush going with this girl named Wendy, and poor Greg, who's very awkward with girls, might have some troubles um, with this. I don't know. Maybe I'll have an actual story discussion. Like, even though the Indiegogo's finished, or finishing up tonight, I might do more live chats where we have like fan talk in air quotes. But this is also really fascinating. I want to have more conversations like this. This is really fun.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that you came though, because I was planning to just go through my entire archive and just talk about the scripts or the
Oh,
script.
yeah?
And I don't know. I mean, it can be interesting, but if I'm just talking to myself and talking to everyone reading, I was worried that that was going to be impersonal. So we
Oh,
have to
okay.
see. I'm still experimenting, but I love this
Yeah.
too. I want to have more Introverts Anonymous episodes.
Yeah, I mean, Nasser's kind of awkward. Maybe you can invite him on next.
Yeah, I might do that. I actually just talked to him like an hour ago, 2 hours
Yeah,
ago, but we didn't really
okay.
talk. I have to talk to him some more.
Yeah, he's fun to talk with.
Yeah, I have to get more plugged in with the gang, I guess. I have to hang around some more and become one of the regulars. I
Yeah.
don't know. But
Well, you're pretty, well in, though. I mean, you've been on Ethan's show more than once. That's like the pinnacle right there.
yeah, unfortunately, I was so overwhelmed that I didn't know how to talk. Like, there were a couple of instances. I think I came on during one stream when Edwin had just gotten swatted, and then he
Oh,
showed up,
no.
and then I was
Uh-huh.
like, I'm not going to say a single word. And another time I tried to get on was when Martina Markota came on,
Mhm.
and I was like, "There's no way I'm going to get a word in with these people."
Mhm.
So they're
Yeah, I can
the big
see
boys.
why in both instances, yeah.
That's okay. I actually like the idea of the quieter people also being able to get together, and when you have really strong personalities, people like I can't speak for you, I won't, but people like myself, like introverts, we tend to just listen, and that
Yes,
doesn't work in a live stream when you're supposed to talk.
right.
um,
Yeah, that was the thing on Doug's show too. He's like, you know, I need people to talk, 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 and it's like, well, I can come on, but I'll probably be awkward, but
yeah, I was using that on Twitter earlier today. Maybe 3 people is the max where I think introverts can talk
Mhm.
comfortably. Four
Yeah,
is kind of pushing it. Um,
right.
so I don't know. We have to find that magic formula, I think. But if people like yourself and I'll count myself as well. We have books coming out. We want to make projects, and we want to try to stand out. Um, I guess it's good for us to have conversations like this too.
Yeah, you should continue with the whole introverts thing. I think it's good.
So we'll form a squad within Comicsgate of shy people, but we're not
Yes,
really shy. We're just quiet.
exactly. That's right.
All right, let's see. I guess I'll just look at some comments and we can finish up for tonight. It's pretty late for me, also, and I'm supposed to go. If I'm going to be going skiing tomorrow, I don't know if I have the
Oh,
energy.
right.
We'll have to see. Let's see. Gus Tyler Bush asks, George, is there any recent webcomics I've been reading and enjoying? Let's see. I have been reading a lot of Shen's work, who's also known as Owlturd. He's a friend of mine. I actually interviewed him on my channel a couple of weeks ago, if anyone's curious. He's super nice, and he's one of the most popular webcomics artists on the internet right now. And I also read Sarah Anderson's stuff. I used to read a bunch of Reddit, but that doesn't work out. It's not working out anymore. Mr. Marcello asks, it would be pretty cool to have conversations. Oh, okay. I wonder, maybe there's a way we could do like call-ins, like have people jump in for a little while, talk and say hi, and then
Yeah, Mike does that.
yeah, I'll have to figure it out. I'm not quite used to live screaming, live screaming.
I love that. Live screaming.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to get better at it. But I would love to bring people on just to talk about comics or whatever's on our minds. That would be a lot of fun. Um, let's see. I guess I'm reading all the comments, but I can't have dead air either. So I have to get better at doing that. But I guess I'll wrap it up for tonight. But I'm amazed that people have come and given us an ear. It's been super fun.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm so grateful that you came on, and it was really great meeting you. And I really do want to hear more about your stories and adventures from the profession. I guess I could call it that, but
Oh,
um, not in a patronizing way. I don't know. I don't want to make anyone uncomfortable, but I do find that stuff really fascinating. Just hearing about people's life stories, you know.
yeah,
Um,
me too.
so yeah, I don't know if there's people. I'm not super plugged in with Comicsgate people, the big names, let's say. But if people want to come on and just like talk about their life stories, I would think that'd be really interesting, at least for me. But
Yeah, Doug does that too sometimes, just ask
okay,
people to talk about themselves.
okay. So I'll have to try to get in touch with Doug again. I emailed him back and forth or messaged him on Twitter,
Uh-huh.
but I think I lost.
Oh,
I
you
think we
should go on
lost.
his show. I think you'd enjoy talking with him.
Okay. I gotta see if I ever catch him live. I'll try to jump on. But
Yeah,
yeah, if you guys talk to any of those Comicsgate people or you catch them live on a show, just let them know that I want to talk to anyone, anyone and everyone. So if they have room to invite me, I'd love to go on and talk to them, or vice versa, to come on here and talk to me.
okay.
Um, Gosh, how do I wrap this up now? I guess. Well, I was going to read strips. I guess I'll save that for another night, eh?
Sounds
Um,
good.
let's see. Okay, so if anyone's listening, there's probably 4 hours left in the Indiegogo for Problematic. I suppose if you guys were going to get a book, now's the time, and you get that fancy, unique cover. But if you want to wait a few months, I will be releasing the book in June, and I will have another Indiegogo. If you go to my Twitter, gprime85, you can check out the art and keep up to date with that. And I think tomorrow I'm going to do my little ski trip and maybe record some fun videos, hopefully, of me not falling off a mountain.
Cool.
And I will catch up with everyone on Wednesday. And I want to thank you, Serena, for coming on. I'm so glad to have had an interesting, really genuinely interesting person to come on. And
Oh,
this conversation has been so much fun.
yeah, I enjoyed it. Thanks for inviting me.
My pleasure, honestly. Let's do it again sometime.
Yeah, let's.
All right. So everyone, I just want to thank you again. If you contributed to the book or the campaign or have even said or retweeted one of my tweets, I'm so grateful that you're all listening and that you're interested. Please feel free to keep reading this strip. It's free, remember. And yeah, I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks so much. That's all I can say. Thank you a million times. I'll talk to you guys next time. All
Later.
right. Good night.